Kawhi is out there showing how one man can take down a super team if he's just on another. I mean, this man, Kawhi Leonard, is, I think I'm comfortable, is the most fundamentally sound player in the NBA.
Among stars or just all players?
Every single person. The man is
Klay Thompson?
what's another nickname for him besides the Claw? Everybody calls him what? This a cyborg. It's everything. He's a tactician. There's like no movement is wasted with Kawhi. He's like a freaking a cyborg. He's out there analyzing everything at the highest level. He's unfazed by anything and everything. Nothing can get to him. And he's showing all I heard all freaking regular season was Kawhi doesn't do this. Kawhi can't do that anymore. Kawhi won't do this. Kawhi couldn't do that.
When he was coming off a torn ACL.
And all I'm seeing is Kawhi Leonard go out there and put up elite offense and guarding Book and Durant.
What star is doing that?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody doing that. Nobody.
But
so y'all put some goddamn respect on Kawhi effing Leonard's name. The freaking
Kawhi for his career shoots 50, right? 40, 84 in the playoffs.
Let me talk.
But nobody
let me talk to you,
disrespect
Justin.
for Kawhi.
Talk about efficiency.
John has been disrespectful to Kawhi.
What are you talking about?
You just listen. You've thrown some shots, all right?
When he won a championship, and I claimed him the best player in the world 4 years ago. And the year since, he blew a 3-1 lead in the bubble. In 2021, he tore his ACL, and in 2022, he didn't play. That is 3 years of nothing. And his worst playoff moment. His worst playoff moment in 2021. Now in 2020, but then in 2021, he looked phenomenal. I mean, to be clear, the guy was shooting 57% in 11 games, but it also took them 7 games to actually beat the Mavericks, right? I think we kind of forget about that. And so it felt like Kawhi kind of took some breaks in like game 1 and 2, same way they did take a break versus Utah in game 1. And now we're starting to see, with no Paul George, the Clippers have their backs against the wall, and Kawhi Leonard, under the most amount of pressure he's probably ever been under in his entire career, is playing as well as he did 2 years ago, not folding, with no star complement. And technically the star is Russ, but he's still just not shooting well enough to be qualified as such. And this is basically 2-on-1. This is Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, two top 7 players in the conference, going up against Kawhi. And they're having to play 45 minutes just to escape the claw.
Let me talk to you. Real quick.
Talk.
I said the Suns. Yeah. I said the Suns in 7. I'm changing up. Clippers in 7. Yeah, don't do that. Because this is it.
Literally, like 10 minutes ago, you said you were still rolling with the Suns.
Because because my gears are rolling.
God.
They're rolling now, and I'm
had 10 minutes to analyze.
Listen, I made a decision last.
Think it
the
through.
Clippers taking them out in 7, and Kawhi Leonard is going to take what should have been rightfully his, if not for unforeseen circumstances of injuries. All right, Kawhi Leonard would have been the best player in the world if not for injuries in his career. Let me state that right now. He would. And now he's reclaiming what should have been his, what is rightfully his. The claw is proving to everybody, and he will be the reason. What he should have, rewriting history is what Kawhi Leonard is doing right now. What he was going to do, what he was on his way to doing in 2017, being a single man to take down a super team, is what he is going to do.
James Harden
First round of the playoffs. The Suns are going home. The sunset is done.
You know what, Brandon? A lot of people a year ago, I'm friends with, tried to make the case Jason Tatum was better than Kawhi Leonard. That is where I draw the line as somebody that's loosely criticized Kawhi.
They have poopy in their head.
And let me say this, Jason Tatum in the playoffs is not on Kawhi Leonard's level. He is nowhere near as dynamic an offensive threat. I mean, Kawhi's not getting to the rim exclusively, but he is one of the most powerful players.
Oh, and let's talk about this too. The way he made himself into that, because John probably knows better than all of us how he was not an offensive threat coming out of college. how in San Antonio they had to rework his shooting form to become this
Chip England.
deadly, possibly. I've heard this comparison. JJ Redick made it on First Take. The closest thing he's seen to Michael Jordan in that last three-peat from the mid-range, Kawhi Leonard. How efficient and fundamentally sound he is. It's next level. I'm
closest to the MJ.
In terms of the mid-range game and how technical he is from the mid-range game.
I would argue Kevin Durant, but I'd say the closest player to Michael Jordan, post Kobe Bryant, I felt like Kobe wasn't on the same level as Michael as a defender, but he was close. I think the closest thing to those two guards would be Kawhi, but he's 2 inches taller and 30 pounds more than each of them. And you know what? You made the point. Kawhi, as a rookie, came off the bench, played 24 minutes. Kawhi didn't average 20 points per game until his 5th season. You know, he was also averaging 20 points per game for the first time in his 5th season. Mikal Bridges. But Mikal, for as much as I've enjoyed watching his gradual development, like Kawhi Leonard, didn't have the physical profile that Kawhi did coming out of San Diego State. And it's weird to say that it took Kawhi until 2016 to become a 20-point per game scorer. And then 2 years later, he was getting moved to the Raptors. So in 2019, that was just the start of Kawhi Leonard's peak at 27 years old. Like, we forget Kawhi was 27. He was young in that playoff run. He's just 31, 4 years later. We were still watching the peak of Kawhi Leonard. And I think a lot of people took it for granted. They forgot how dynamic and unstoppable threat he was. Because that finals run, think about it this way. In the first round of the playoffs, the Raptors played the Orlando Magic. They won 4 straight. Then they played Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Kawhi thoroughly outplayed Jimmy Butler, who we argue is a playoff superstar in this show. He outplayed Jimmy Butler in that series. Then he moves on to Milwaukee, right? The Bucks, they won game 1, and they also won game 2. And then they lost 4 straight points to Kawhi, who, in that series, outplayed Giannis Antetokounmpo. Keep in mind, Giannis won the NBA MVP that year. He then goes to the NBA Finals, and we often discredit him because Kevin Durant played 12 minutes in the entire series. But on the floor of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, plus Draymond Green, Kawhi Leonard averaged 29 points, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 4 assists. Steph Curry was just as good, averaging 30 points and 6 assists, but he shot worse. Kawhi was the best player in that series as well. So Kawhi had one playoff run, outplayed Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Steph Curry to win a championship for a Raptors franchise that since him have not made it to the conference finals and may not be making it back there anytime soon. So I think Kawhi Leonard's peak is really historically underrated given the degree of difficulty and how much credit he was not given because Kevin Durant was out in that finals. It's really not given.
Yeah, and the injuries I forgot. But Justin, I mean, you got something you want to say or something about Kawhi Leonard? Because we all know what it is, all right?
What do you mean? I got nothing but respect for Kawhi. You think I'm going to sit here and disrespect him? I love Kawhi.
Taking the faces and the things and the one.
One of you had Carmelo Anthony over him. That was you, Justin. You had Paul Pierce over him all the time. Don't think I forgot your small forward list. You had Paul Pierce and some other clearly were small forward above Kawhi.
I'll say this. If Kevin Durant is at his peak of powers, he is better than Kawhi Leonard. So I know you guys are saying all this stuff. Right now we're talking about a Kevin Durant that's coming off of injury, that has barely played. He's still finding his legs. The second Kevin Durant is feeling like his best self, the series, there's no competition. There's not.
What happened if the Clippers win?
What do you mean? What happens if the Clippers win?
DeAndre was getting outplayed by Pizza Zubats. Then
the narrative?
The narrative on who?
You know what I'm talking about. Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard's amazing. There's nothing that there's nothing that Kawhi Leonard can do that would surprise me. There's nothing. He's already shown us. John touched on his finals run with Toronto. If that didn't catapult Kawhi Leonard in everybody's eyes, then I don't know what does. So I have immense respect for the guy. Nothing he does, even if he loses another series, even if he coughed up a 3-1 lead, I wouldn't look at him any differently. Kawhi's going to be Kawhi. But
I'm gonna do it right now, guys.
What?
I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
I'm gonna go even further.
He's gonna. If he says the Clippers, John. If he says the Clippers are going to the finals, I'm leaving right now.
I'm going. All right, listen. You know what my preseason prediction was for the finals? It was Boston and the Clippers.
They're not going to the finals, Brandon. Stop.
I'm back on the train, baby. The Clippers are going to the NBA Finals. You don't want to hear it, but they're going through the Suns in 7.
All right.
Then they're facing the Nuggets. Paul George is coming back. Kawhi ain't nothing. All right.
But you do realize that they blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets when they were babies, right?
John, he literally just went.
Wait.
Clippers win.
He's going to use the excuse. They lack the mental fortitude to actually win the bubble, so he used it as an excuse.
Didn't want to be there.
Well, the Clippers have been dominated by the Nuggets in the regular season as well.
Talking regular season now. Oh man, I need to make this a quote. You know how AI, that the famous quote, we talking about practice. This is me with we talking regular season. I feel like we are being proven wrong right now. That how many times over this regular season I was told by John that Kawhi can't do this anymore, and he's proving he can do it. He's doing it right now. Above your very eyes.
They can't stop Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Aaron Gordon's the perfect matchup for Kawhi. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he's got experience in the playoffs. Paul George coming off injury, he may not be 100%. You saw that like hyperextension. That Clippers bench, they've got a tough time against a younger Nuggets team with more continuity, better health, and honestly more firepower. I think the Nuggets have more consistent firepower, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. Who had a quiet game too than the Clippers.
Who's deeper?
Neither team. The Clippers aren't that deep.
John,
their depth is shining versus the Suns. Versus the Suns, it's shining.
Because Denver's deep. Denver's not deep either. They're just as lacking depth as the Suns.
They have functional depth. Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, and Jeff Green.
The Clippers aren't even playing Robert Covington.